Hey guys, yeah, you're probably wondering again, why are you here? And always remember me, you just said you were gonna play Realistair again. And that's because my curiosity got the better of me. Do you remember how, when I was doing Aaron's Route, I was playing through desperately trying to find that poem, and I found an extra scene with him? Well, I was wondering, after the fact, if Eddy had any bonus scenes, and I found 3 of them, actually. So I'm just trying to find them again. The first one I found was here on August 25th, so I played for my last save. And then if I go to the hospital, I should get a scene, so let's see what happens. Ah, here it is! When I went to the hospital to visit Aaron, I was unsurprised to see that Abigail was there as well. She was well dressed like usual, and wore a somewhat terrifying amount of makeup, oh dear. Regardless, she pulled it off well, and looked like the beautiful and popular girl that almost everyone regarded her as. Good afternoon, you two. You're here again? Hello, Amy. I ignored Abigail's rude greeting, if it could even be called such, and directed my attention toward Aaron. It was starting to feel like a rather routine process. I only distantly registered Eddy in the corridor, since he was too busy talking to a few of his employees to notice me walking past. How are you feeling today? Fine, thanks. Eddy is a good doctor. He's been taking care of me very well. I'm glad to hear it. He really seems like a nice guy. He's really young. I'm surprised anyone his age could have such a good job. He's very intelligent. He's very handsome, too. I frowned slightly, suspicious that she was going to start making trouble. I glanced briefly down the corridor as a few of the nurses walked away, but one young and cute-looking nurse continued talking to him. Why are you blushing exactly, sir? They chatted a bit, and it didn't look like it was business-related, since they were both smiling and sometimes laughing. Abigail, behave. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you liked him. Her voice was mocking, and my frown deepened, then turned into more of a glare. I don't. It's just that you should be taking your relationship more seriously. It contradicted my words, but I couldn't help but glance over my shoulder a few times to see what was happening with the two of them. Apparently he's getting closer, rubbing shoulders with the nurse. That's kind of hard to believe with how you're staring at him and that pretty little nurse. They'd make a cute couple, don't you think? How should I know? Aaron glanced between us, clearly thinking that Abigail's light tone was indication that our discussion was meant to be joking. I know there was more to it than that, but I was still feeling too annoyed by how it looked, as though the nurse was flirting with Eddy to thoroughly hide it. I guess they do seem to be getting along well. You better go to Eddy, otherwise that nurse is going to jump on him. Abigail laughed as she said the words, and I blushed accordingly. Not going to give up on Aaron, or Eddy. Maybe Abigail's right. I can't believe I'm saying these words, but in this instance, Abigail is right. Eddy. I wasn't entirely sure what made that particular ephemeral moment so important, but seeing Aaron and Abigail standing side by side opened my eyes to the reality of the situation. They were close and happy in each other's company, and Abigail looked smug to have his hand in her own. They did indeed look perfect together. Abigail was a beautiful young woman, and Aaron was one of the best-looking young men in the town. Their roles fit well together, more so than him and a more average girl who just worked at the ice cream shop like me. Aw. Well, you don't have to stick around if you don't want to, Amy. When he said the words, I knew he meant to be polite, since they were accompanied by a bemused chuckle. The irony of it made my heart sink. Yeah, we won't hold you up. Better go tell that nurse to shoo. I was still too absorbed in my dark musings to fully hear what they were saying to me. Aw, Amy. Aaron, I really have lost you, haven't I? You're not the same boy I knew anymore, and you're certainly not The same boy I loved with all of my heart. I'm sorry, but I have to go. Oh. This is a key moment of your story. You realize that no matter what, Aaron won't be the same anymore, and you cannot love him like you did. And that's why I got a broken heart now. Oh, and it shattered and flew away. Aw, from now on, all Aaron-related actions won't be available anymore. However, you can still pursue the other characters. I didn't wait for a response and turned away from them, hurrying down the hall as tears formed in my eyes. I was staring at the floor, tears turning my vision into a wet blur. I was walking too quickly and tripped, stumbling into Eddy.
Amy, what's wrong?
It's your fault! My voice cracked as I spoke, and the nurse left as quickly as possible when she saw what was happening. Well, good.
What?
It's all your fault for being so nice. I left the hospital in a huff, leaving Eddy standing in the hallway for several moments with a thoroughly shocked and perplexed expression on his face. Poor Eddy. He's got so much to deal with. Okay, so that was that scene. And then the next two scenes just happen automatically as the date progresses, so I will fast forward all my grinding up to that point and bring you up to speed then. Okay, see you in a bit, guys.
Yay! Yeah, awesome! Bring it on! Woohoo! Awesome! Bring it on! Bring it on! That was easy. Yay! Yay! Awesome! Yeah! Yeah! That was easy. Who's awesome? I'm awesome. Yes! Wasn't expecting this. Who's awesome? I'm awesome. Awesome! Woohoo!
Woohoo! Oh. Here it is. This is the next scene. I was rather surprised when the invitation from Osher came in so suddenly. His lack of fondness for me was generally very obvious, so hearing his voice on the phone seemed unusual. Hello?
Good morning, Amy. I would like you to come to a restaurant to meet with me tonight.
Oh? Sure, I could do that. What restaurant is it?
Le Chateau. Please dress properly. It's a very luxurious restaurant. I'll be there at 8 tonight.
I see. Thank you. I'll see you then.
Goodbye.
He hung up the phone before I had the chance to say a proper goodbye, but I just shook my head and ventured over to my closet to find some suitable clothing. The amount of time that passed before the agreed-upon date seemed indeterminable. I felt myself growing impatient as the hour grew closer, but I didn't want to arrive too early. I had picked out an elegant dress to wear to the restaurant, and I walked inside about 5 minutes early. When I entered, I quickly saw Osher sitting alone at a table. I waved politely and smiled, determined to make a good impression as I sat down opposite him. Good evening. It's nice to see you again.
Good evening to you as well. Do you mind if I get straight to the point? I want to talk about Aaron.
Okay.
He's been going through a lot with the state of his memories. We may think that things are difficult for us right now, but they're 10 times worse for him.
I know. I really do hope that he will be able to get better.
I appreciate that. I want my son to be healthy and happy again as soon as possible, even if his memories remain unclear.
His words surprised me, but before he could continue, someone who I did not want to see appeared in the doorway. Oh, she still got her dress. Abigail walked over to the table, looking unusually calm and composed. Hi. She looked at Osher when she'd spoke.
Hello, I'm glad you're able to come. Please sit down.
She then turned to me, and to my surprise, smiled slightly. It wasn't a smirk or a look of malice either. Hey there. Hello. I'd like to get right to the point of why we're all here. First of all, I have to confess that I made a mistake. I really do love Aaron with all of my heart. I never should have broken up with him. It was the most foolish thing I've ever done. I regret it deeply, but at the same time, I'm so grateful that I've been blessed with a second chance to be with him again, the way we used to be. Her voice was so sincere and heartfelt that I couldn't help but sympathize with her words. I can understand why you don't approve of me, Amy, but I really hope that you'll be able to accept the idea. He means a lot to me, and I mean a lot to him.
This is actually why I wanted both of you to come here tonight. I also believe that Abigail is the right person for Aaron.
Well, we kind of figured that from the beginning, didn't we? Blech. I don't love Aaron anymore, but should I let Osher treat me like that? Osher, I got issues with you. But we don't really care about Aaron, so we'll just respond politely. Might as well. Thank you for explaining it to me like this, Abigail. Well, I'm glad to have gotten the chance. He really is a wonderful person. I understand that, though it's rather sad that Aaron isn't the same person that I loved and who loved me. Aw, I felt my eyes starting to fill with tears as I explained. I really hope you can take good care of him, Abigail. He really does care about you. The tears overflowed as I said the words, but I offered them with a small smile and a nod. Thank you so much, Amy. Much to my surprise, Abigail actually came over to give me a brief, comforting hug. I blinked once in surprise and a second time to clear my eyes.
Whew.
Osher heaved a sigh of relief and seemed to relax considerably.
Thank you for being understanding, Amy. So, shall we order some dinner?
Sure. I sniffled as I replied and lifted up a napkin to dab at my eyes. I knew that I had moved on, but it was still bittersweet. The rest of the conversation we had while ordering and eating dinner was fairly casual, mostly about Aaron, but completely free of conflict. I still ate as quickly as I could and left politely. Everything had gone well, and I felt as though it had all been a big step towards really letting go of Aaron. Yeah, and that's the scene I was hoping to get. Like, I felt like Amy really did need to cut ties with Aaron and move on. Because otherwise it was just unresolved.
Awesome!
But anyway, so the next scene is also automatic, and it should be in a couple of days' time. I'll speed up a little bit so you guys don't have to watch all this boring stuff, but I will see you soon.
Yay! Bring it on! Bring it on! Bring it on! Oh no.
And let's make it work at the ice cream shop.
Awesome!
Oh no.
Wasn't expecting
Oh no, Eddy! I'm stalking you again.
That was easy. Yes! Bring it on!
Bring it on.
Who's awesome? I'm awesome. Bring it on! Who's awesome? I'm awesome. Woohoo! Yeah!
Yeah. To work.
Bring it on! Yay! Yeah! That was easy. Awesome! Awesome! Yes! Yay!
Oh no. Oh, here it is, guys. Here it is. Last scene. I had just stepped out of the shower and gotten dressed when my phone rang obnoxiously loudly. I reached over my bed and put it on speaker while simultaneously combing my hair. Hello?
Amy, it's me, Eddy.
Oh, hello. How'd you get my number?
That's not important right now. Amy, I think you should come to the hospital.
I dropped my comb and spun to face the phone fully. What? Why? What's wrong?
Aaron's father is coming, and I think he wants to take him back home.
Eddy, just ask them to wait for 5 minutes. I'll be there soon. I turned the phone off, not even waiting for his reply. I charged out of the house and ran to the hospital. A few minutes later, I was in front of the hospital and walking quickly inside the large, cold building. I took the elevator and waited anxiously for the doors to open. I ran unabashedly to Aaron's room and threw open the door, catching sight of Aaron sitting in a wheelchair, flanked by Osher. Also beside him was Abigail. I'm here. What's going on?
Hello, Amy. I've decided to take Aaron back home to Seattle to try new therapies.
I felt my heart breaking, and it shattered when I saw that Abigail was holding Aaron's hand. Right then, I knew what I had to do. I walked up to Abigail, and she eyed me nervously, as if scared of what I might say or do to her. I smiled at her briefly, but I was beginning to cry again. Oh, Amy. Swear to me that you'll take care of him. She blinked, then tears abruptly began to fill her eyes as well. Simultaneously, we reached forward and hugged each other, crying. Aw, who would have thunk that we would have got this close with Abigail at the end of all things? Good luck to both of you. Abigail nodded tearfully, and with one final glance at me, left the room. I turned my attention to Aaron, who was watching me apologetically.
I'm sorry, miss.
Miss? I cut him off. Have fun in Seattle, Aaron. I hope you get better soon.
Thank you. For everything, I mean.
I nodded slowly. Thank you, too. Directing one last cold smile at me, Osher guided his son's wheelchair out the door, which swung shut behind them. I watched them go, feeling unexpectedly calm. Oh, Eddy. Eddy stepped up from behind me and wrapped his arms around me in a hug. Oh. Are you okay? I think so. I have no regrets now. I felt him smile into my hair, and I closed my eyes as he turned me around and kissed me. Ah, the end! And then it just plays the normal ending. And oh, I just thought that was so sweet that you guys might enjoy seeing that too. So, hope you did. And this time, for real, I will now go and play Realister. So, I will see you there. See you later, guys. Bye!
Yesterday, we stood together.